do our thing with her name. Well, people, today we're coming out to you. First things first, we want to say, get well soon, man, Mr. False Ross.
Yes, most definitely.
He's unfortunately a little bit under the weather, but hopefully he'll be back again.
Yes, sir.
All right. We got a lovely replacement. We got Miss
J Giggles.
J Giggles. What's happening, lady?
Everybody.
All right. She's coming to represent for the ladies. I guess she felt like we were putting y'all down a little bit too much, so she wanted to get out there and make.
Yeah. Plus it's one of those things where we listen. We listen to people that are watching and that actually have input. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but Jayla has had a lot of input, like on the comments when when we have some hot topics. So yeah, she was a natural choice, So J Giggles.
All right. So the number 1 and number 2 fan.
There we go.
Y'all know
Number 1.
you get it?
Number 1.
All right. We got great topics today, and I gotta admit the topics are a little leaning towards the female persuasion. So we're gonna let it happen. All right. Milk dud heads. We sitting in the hot. All right.
Yep.
So we're gonna start this one first off with indecisive people.
Indecisive people. I mean, I can say that. I'll speak for women. I mean, women are very indecisive. I'm not even going to lie. It could be about the simplest thing, like what you want to eat. I don't know. Then men start labeling off restaurants and stuff, and they're like, nah, I don't want that. So, I mean, to speak for myself, I do that a lot. But it's only because I don't want to be the only person that's making the decision. I want somebody else to make the decision with me. I want it to be a team effort. Yes, you can give me options, and then I'll say yes or no, but then it'll be a team decision. I mean,
well, okay. Okay. Let's start this off because I was initially going to have this being about indecisive women, but I started thinking about it. I ain't gonna lie. I started thinking about it like, hold on. I know for sure. I actually worked with people, and I've actually got people in my family who are very, very indecisive, and they happen to be men. So I had to rethink it because I was thinking, yeah, women are indecisive. They need to, just as a whole, women are indecisive. But the more I think about it, like, wait a minute here. I've got uncles that'll sit there and they will analyze every single thing, and I actually caught myself doing it where I'll go to YouTube if there's a certain product I want to buy. I'll go to YouTube and I'm looking at videos on comparisons and reviews and all this stuff here, and I call myself being analytical about it. But if I'm just being honest, I actually am a victim of indecisiveness at times. Now, I do actually come to moments where I have a phrase that I go back to, and I want to say it was Dr. Phil, because it may have been Dr. Phil. I don't know. It sounds like something Dr. Phil would say, so it may be Dr. Phil-ish, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's it or not. But but I like to go over it anyway. Make a decision you can live with, and live with your decision. It's one of those things that I have to actually remind myself to say this when I'm actually kind of going over stuff. I like to be informed. I do like to make good decisions. I like to make smart decisions. I like to make educated decisions. So I do try to get as much input as possible, but there comes a point when I've got to make a decision. So if I actually say this little saying, make a decision you can live with and live with your decision, it kind of helps me to go ahead and, you know, kind of like skydiving. I can actually jump out of the plane right now. You know, so I'm actually making that decision, saying, okay, whatever it is, I'm gonna make that decision and go and kind of go with it. That's just me, you know. But.
So could it be not necessarily indecisiveness, but maybe even procrastination?
No, that's a separate issue, at least in my mind. Well, it's procrastination has to do with will and desire.
Okay.
You know, being indecisive, I don't know if it's partly. I can actually feel people that have anxiety. I don't feel like I have issues with anxiety, but I learned that my mother has issues. Well, she had issues going shopping or going grocery shopping because of anxiety, which is something completely different or something a whole lot deeper. But it is actually kind of related. So the indecisiveness, there's a little bit of anxiety that actually goes along with this. You know, so I feel for people that actually have issues with dealing with anxiety, regardless of which vein or which avenue it actually comes in. But the indecisive part of it for me is like a temporary anxiety issue that I need to just go ahead and make a decision I can live with, and then just live with that decision.
So, Ms. J Giggles, what would you think? What are the ill effects of being indecisive?
Sometimes, I mean, honestly, it takes too long to make a decision. Sometimes you'll get to a deadline and you're like, so I still haven't decided, and then you start ruining things. I mean, indecisiveness, it's not a terrible thing, don't get me wrong, but like fail you in the future. I mean, but I agree with him as far as to the looking at reviews and doing comparisons, because I'm a big person that does that, and I'm very analytical of what I choose. So I agree with his quote. Like, make a decision that you're gonna live for it or live with, because if you pick the wrong thing, say you think fast. I mean, sometimes when you think fast, you take the wrong avenue and you make the wrong decision and you regret it in the end. So I agree completely with that. But as far as to the ill effects, I mean, sometimes you're going to sit there left with nothing if you continue to be indecisive throughout for however long it takes you. Some people it takes longer. Some people can make a decision right there and then, but I can say that I'm indecisive, as I'm not even going to lie, and I know most of you women, you probably might not admit it, but there is times when you're indecisive.
I wasn't going to say it.
I'm not touching that.
I'm glad it came out.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You might have to do some musical chairs or something next time. One of y'all alone coming for y'all now. It ain't us.
Ladies, I mean, we are indecisive at certain things that, for instance, should I get this pair of shoes or should I get this pair of shoes? Which one's going to look good with my outfit? I mean, come on now. You got to be real and state the reality. You can't sit there and be like, I'm not indecisive. I know what I want. Because, no, that's not true.
No.
That's not true.
Honestly, I do have to say that I'm one of those, I try to actually see both sides. And as a guy, guys, it really doesn't affect guys very much, but women have so much that they think about. They have so the indecisive thing may also be the fact that women are better multitaskers than men. As far as like they're thinking about this kid, that kid, and that kid. There's 3 different sports. They're thinking about, okay, they got a paper that's to be done. Okay, I've got actually this green bean casserole in the oven, or my mother-in-law is going to be talking crazy about me. You know what I'm saying? That all these different things women actually have on their mind, and when we actually come to them and say, well, where you want to eat? You know, women might be thinking, you know what? I want you to cook. That's what I want. I want you to cook. Sit home and cook, because women have so many different things that they talk about, they think about, that are on their shoulders. So, you know what? I was actually wrong for bringing up indecisiveness.
It still managed to get back to
yeah, you know. So I was just being anyway.
All right, so we're having We're getting a lot of comments about the sound that's going in and out. Mm-hmm. So if you guys could give us just a couple minutes, I'll be right back. Start right back. Turn the music up a little bit right now.
Mic's off.
All right, y'all. Thanks for bearing with us for a moment. Sorry about those technical difficulties, but we back. So that was pretty much it on that indecisiveness.
Guess that was decided for us.
Yeah. Everything decided for us. Said that was enough of y'all talking about that. So we're gonna move right along. Again, this was another question brought to us by the lovely J Giggles.
J Giggles.
She has. I'm not even really sure how to bring this question. It says home roles, such as should it be equal when it comes to finances, cooking, laundry, etc. I'm gonna let you start us off.
Well, I think that it should be equal. I don't believe in the whole man should support the household solely and woman should sit and take care of the kids. Because we're not back in those times. I mean, let's be real. We're in 2018. Nobody really follows that. I mean, there is people that still have that old soul out there, but I don't believe in that. I believe that the bill should be split equally. I think that they should cook. Everybody should participate in cooking. I know that most men are like, but women are made for the kitchen. But I don't think that should be the way it is. I think that men should be able to step in and do that as well, along with laundry, even though sometimes you guys don't do it right, but you can at least help out. Shrinking and things turning colors, but it's okay though. It's okay. We appreciate the help. That's all that matters. But like I said, I think that everything should really be equal. I don't believe in a woman should stay in her place and in the kitchen taking care of babies and all that extra jazz. I think in today's society, everything should be split between the two of you.
So does that mean that when it comes time to cutting grass, for that switch, or for it to be equal, or with you up at 12:30 in the morning because I'm in the bathroom and there's a spider.
When kids are up, when you have to wake your kids up, can I wake you up too? Most men are like, I'm just gonna roll over, I'm tired. No, when babies are babies, most men are like, I'm dead asleep, and the mom is the one that's up and running and doing all this extra.
Well, that's because you guys have that sensitive hearing.
Is that right?
You hear that baby cry before we do. Most men are heavy sleepers. Honestly, most men are heavy sleepers. It's not that they're ignoring the baby, it's just we don't hear it. Plus, me, I don't know how anybody can hear anything over me snoring. So, I don't know what it is. But, I have no problem with that. But that's all about the boundaries that you guys set prior to, the relationship. I mean, if you've been cooking, cleaning, watching after the kids, 6 months down the line, you expect me to start doing it. How you gonna change up on me?
6 months down the line, how come it has to be so long?
Well, I'm just saying. I was just saying. I didn't mean literally 6 months, but or even 3 months down the line. If there wasn't a ground rule that was set in the beginning, why change now?
That's why you should always set your expectations up front.
That's right. I ain't doing shit. You don't set that expectation. Issues. I ain't know nothing. I'm going to sleep and fart while you doing big burp the babies.
Well, see, in the case of newborns, I think that's something different. I came up with something that back when I was married, way back then. Back when I was married, I came up with, instead of we actually did this for 2 daughters. We don't take turns throughout the same night. We actually take turns either every other night. So one night is her night, and I can get a good sleep, and the other night's my night, and she can get a good night's sleep. So we kind of alternate that way. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of compromise I came up with, because if you actually try to take turns like through the night, nobody's getting any sleep. You know what I'm saying? And that's how people end up going delirious. With their first baby. So like I said, you had a night where I would actually take a night where I would get up. I was a light sleeper that night, and I knew that tomorrow I get a chance to sleep in. You know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where I was still listening. I was still listening for my daughter, but it's one of those things where I could actually get some rest too. So yeah, I think I'm from man.
So now, real quick, because they going ham about this whole little situation right now. We're going to have like the last 10 minutes of the show. We're going to throw out like a little Q&A session. So you can either message us the questions that you get. Well, I'm sorry. You can message me or you can post them here. And at the end of the show, towards the end of the show, we'll try and get back to them. You guys going. I am not honestly going to be able to make put this, so I do apologize. I do want you guys to continue to share in the conversation.
Can you give some? Oh
yeah, I'm about to run through a few. But if I miss yours and you really want it to be extra heard, send it to me in a message or we get that noted at the end. So I do apologize, but we're just gonna run through a few of them. So we got. This goes back to that first question about indecisiveness. Crystal was talking about it, and she said the answer is always Olive Garden. From a lot of women, I believe that. Hey, that's that. I guess that's an easy thing for y'all. Who is she, and what happened to Big Milk Dud? All right, so you came late apparently. Big Milk Dud had a few health issues right now, so he had to kind of step out for this show. This is the lovely J Giggles. She's here representing for the ladies. I think she's attacking him worse than Big Milk Dud.
No, I got your back too. Don't worry, but that one I just had to be real.
All right, I got you. Marissa. If I work, you have to work. If I go cook, you have to cook.
Well, who's gonna clean?
Yeah, nobody cleaning.
earthquakes everywhere.
Lindsay answered to you. She said she will cut the grass, not a problem.
Okay. I gotta get a house first, so you can get the lawnmower ready.
You hit on my woman?
No, I'm trying to get some free landscaping.
You trying to get my woman?
I'm trying to get some.
What's wrong with you? All right. Crystal again says that. That's not true.
That is so true.
That's not true. Okay, so I got 2 young daughters, and their mothers were both. One of them's mother would tell you flat out. The other one's deceased, so she couldn't tell you. But when that baby cried, Daddy went and got it. That was my baby.
Well, you're a different type of man.
Like I said, that boundary and that nature that you set from the beginning, how that would go.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I believe more men are that way. Gina says, I didn't make that baby by myself. So get your butt up. Yes, ma'am.
2 to tango.
Yes, ma'am. I ain't gonna argue that. I mean, that's true.
I'll leave that alone.
We ain't gonna touch that.
Yeah.
Say, men, be quiet.
I mean, what was I supposed to say to that? Virgin Mary. I mean, hell, she could make the baby by herself. She's right. I got it. I'm not going to touch that, and I'm going to step on the side and let old head say something. Yeah. I'm leaving it alone.
I do think that there are certain roles that certain roles should be divided. I actually think there are certain roles that can be, they can be divided evenly, but there's certain roles that men have to actually play and that women have to actually play. And I'm not gonna lie, I've got 4 daughters, and I didn't want to have a sex talk with my daughters. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I was comfortable if they wanted to come and talk to me, but I wasn't comfortable initiating. You know what I'm saying? So with my ex, the way she approached things, we actually talked about the approach, but the way she actually approached things, she was very open, and she was, and I was okay with that. I'm like, well, I still don't want to have that conversation, with my daughters. My whole thing is, just stay off the pole, So,
Here you go.
so I do think now if I was thrust within that situation where I had to, I mean, I do what I had to do. But if I've actually got, mom over here, let mom go ahead and handle that, and
But what happens if the both of you do it?
I would still be uncomfortable, but I would actually kind of lean more toward what your mama said.
So, and I'm with you because, like, let's say for example, like the whole special time of the month or whatever y'all call it this year. I don't know.
Flow.
Yeah, on flow. Whenever that whole on flow conversation.
Thinking about progressive or something.
You know what, sweetie, I can't have that conversation with you.
Right.
I honestly,
you don't want to get anything wrong because we don't,
exactly.
We don't know how to describe the way it's actually happening.
Because I don't know. Thank God, I ain't never had that problem.
But you guys all had sex ed.
And what does that mean? I'm man enough and secure in myself to honestly state that I don't know. And instead, I'd rather let somebody else of the same gender do it. Now, I'm not going to pass that always off on her mother. I've been lucky enough in my life to make sure I always have a strong, beautiful woman that can help me raise my daughters. Because I'm a firm believer in women can't raise men. As the same way as I am, men can't raise women.
To an extent.
No.
To an extent.
I'm sorry, I don't believe it. You I'm about to get myself in some serious trouble.
I feel it coming.
To raise a man, you have to know one. And a lot of times, a lot of these women don't even know what a real man looks like. So, to be able to tell your man this is what he's supposed to do, this is how he's supposed to react, this is what he's supposed to be, is not there. So this goes back to my previous statement that I feel is the problem with our community today. We don't have enough strong black men that are out there showing our younger black men what it is to be one.
I can agree with that.
And as I said, we have women out there that are doing their best job. Every single mother, I stand up and I applaud. However, I still don't believe a woman can raise a man. They can give it their best effort.
Yeah.
And they can teach him a whole lot of things that he should not do, maybe could do, and things of that nature. But I don't think that a woman truly can raise a man.
That's true. I mean, to an extent.
I tend to think. I think a little bit different. On that, and that's basically because there's a lesson in everything. Mm-hmm. So you can teach someone what to do, but you can also learn from what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't agree with that. I think that there's a certain type of man, and there's a certain quality that you actually get from a man. But I do think that mothers or single mothers it's all about the methods that are used, and also if you have the family structure. If she's a single mother, she still may have brothers. There's cousins. There's uncles. So as long as there is a male role model present, if she's raising him by herself, she's not raising him by herself, because everyone is supposed to actually have a part in that. So I don't completely agree. I think it is situational, because there are certain situations where there might be a single mother, but there's uncle, there's brother, there's all those examples there, and it takes everyone coming in. But I do agree that there are certain qualities that a male is going to actually have, that a certain influence over a son, over a male child. So
I told y'all I was going to get myself in trouble. I told y'all they're going in on me now. All right, so we're not prepared for that yet. However, if you got any questions or anything like that, you can type it here, and I'll try and make sure I get to it at the end of the show. Coming soon, though, we will have here for people to call, and again, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be a first come, first serve. So we're gonna get them calls in and out real fast.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm saying y'all horrible mothers or anything like that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I just think that you need a man to do that extra step. I'm not stating that y'all doing a horrible job. I'm not saying that at all. Please don't think I'm bashing y'all at all. I'm not bashing single mothers at all. That's not what I'm doing. I just think that a man, to be a man, you got to have that man's touch. You mentioned it there by having uncles and brothers and things like that along in the life to help him, because I still think that a man needs to see a man.
Right.
So if you don't see one, no, you're not going to be. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why we got this whole generation of skinny jean wearing ass dudes running around. I can't. Sorry. Yep. Grape squisher. I believe you can raise the opposite sex well, but instill in them the necessary things they should learn.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
I respect that. Regina again is saying, I can definitely raise my son to be a man. Mm-hmm. I teach him all that I think a man should be, and what I don't know, I will ask a man that she believes is a great man for advice. That's my point exactly.
That's good, yeah. Well, you still have to go to a man.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my statement. I believe a single woman can't solely raise a man. There has to be a man involved somewhere, somewhat, somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, yeah.
Okay. Sabrina says, I think I did a great job raising a young man. You probably did, and I'm not saying you didn't. That's not what I just said. That's not what I meant. So please don't think that. Lindsay says, I know a lot of women who did better than me in raising a man. Again, I'm not saying, that's not what I'm saying.
They coming for you. They
I see. We ain't got to take all this heat. Yes. Sorry, I got big shoulders. I can take it. Marissa says a child needs his father and a mother in their life. Yes, your child may not say it, but there are. That's why I hate this. There are things that they may not want to talk to one parent about, where they would want to talk to the other parent. Both parents are key. True.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a very mature view.
That's
like
true.
That. Yeah.
But sadly, nowadays it's not always like that.
What? Because I ain't touching no more of this. Y'all done pumped me out of it. D'Amica says there has to be role models to be a great man or woman. And your role model has to be a great person. You can't look at Pookie or Ray Ray on the corner and say, all right, well, I'm going to use them and I'm going to elevate my. They do.
I mean, you could use
that's
them
as
a bad example.
Exactly. Cautionary tale. Everything is a lesson. Everything is a lesson. So I've learned some things of what not to do by watching some of the people that are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
So
it's a life.
I'm sipping my tea. I'm not trying to hear that mess.
That's true though. You watch so much bad things. It should instill in you that if this happened to them, then that can happen to me, and you should never want that for yourself.
See, the problem is, I'm kind of twisted in the head. You know what I took from watching Pookie and Ray Ray?
What?
They did it wrong. I'm gonna show you how. They got caught. I'm not gonna get caught.
That's still a lesson. But okay. Let me go back to you. Okay. My oldest uncle right now is my uncle John, and I remember coming home. We used to have dinner over my grandmother's house after church. She's lived right around the corner. It was after church, and my oldest uncle. We actually found my oldest uncle just laying in the puddle of his urine one day. You know what I'm saying? He had a drinking problem. He actually he was at Vietnam. He actually had drinking problems. He had issues. But I was 12 years old at that time. I learned how not to be. That was a lesson. Even though it was a very damaging lesson. It was something that had to be learned. I learned it from a man. Mm-hmm. So it's a lesson going back to that. But I honestly didn't really start drinking until I was like maybe 24, 25 years old. Really, you know what I'm saying? Just because I knew I did not want to be in that situation, and I wanted to make sure I could actually handle what I could handle. So
I'm sorry, I can't tell you. No, I was drinking too.
You learned that lesson. So
learn that lesson from because I'm gonna tell you, man. Look, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm gonna tell you, this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna keep it real, and that's my number one thing. Is I don't. That's the reason why I love actually mentoring young men because first thing a lot of people gonna tell you is you gotta pray about it. I believe in God. That's what I do. But I believe that God helps those who help themselves.
Exactly.
First thing you do is need to get up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and let's make some serious moves.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's deal with that. So that's where I stand with it. So I'm always about giving the real talk to our younger ones.
Yeah.
And even our older ones who just maybe they lost their way. I'm a firm believer in that. But I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to let you feel like, well, it's the world against you. No, it ain't.
Right.
Indecisive decisions are against you.
The circle, bring it back, man. Bring it back. Yeah.
All right, so right now we go. Right now we jewels from our man, Old Head Smooth. Old Head
Smooth.
There we go.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, what you got for us today, bro?
Now, if you know me, you know I'm about my money.
He about his money.
But also, those who know me know that I'm about my golden era classic hip hop. Love. I mean, that is my culture. I mean, I am proud of the fact that KRS-One took it to the United Nations and had hip hop recognized as a culture. So I love the culture of hip hop, especially golden era hip hop. I actually scour YouTube for interviews for documentaries, anything related to old school hip hop. So one of the biggest sections that I actually end up kind of looking up a lot is the Juice Crew, Cold Chill, and that whole era there. Anything that had to do with Biz Markie, Big Daddy Kane, MC Shan, Roxanne Shante. I am showing my age, I'm actually into it there. So I've seen so many interviews. I watch a lot of Drink Champs. I love watching Drink Champs because it actually gives us a platform for our older artists. But I love it so much. But all around those artists that I just mentioned, there's one figure that kind of ties everyone all together. And I hadn't heard, like within the last 3 or 4 years, I'm hearing all these other interviews with all these other people that are on Cold Chill, and anyone that was within the 1986, 7, 8, that realm right there, when you're listening to hip hop when it's really bubbling. The thing that ties all those people together is Marley Marl. Drink Champs earlier this week, I want to say it was on Sunday, had their episode. They spent 2 hours on their podcast with Marley Marl. So all these other different stories that I've actually seen, all these documentaries that I've seen about that particular era and people that are actually rotating in that realm, were all rotating around Marley Marl. So I got a chance to actually hear the podcast. I've actually watched it like 3 times. So I got a chance to hear and watch the podcast and all these other stories from all these other artists, all these documentaries, all these other interviews. It's like before I would view them in black and white, and once I actually got a chance to watch the episode with Marley Marl, who pretty much tied everything together, it's almost like the whole picture exploded in color. You know what I'm saying? So that like I said, that might be the black hippie in me coming out. But being able to actually see, it's almost like being able to see the root. So you got you have this tree that's got all these different types of fruits on it, but you actually got a chance. I got a chance to actually see the root of that whole setup there. Like I said, he even went into how KRS-One stole his drums to make South Bronx. He talked about the first time he met Biz Markie, you know what I'm saying? And the way he's actually telling these stories, I'm hearing these same stories from the artists themselves, or I'm hearing the story from someone else that's actually involved in it. And being able to hear Marley's version of it, it's almost like it brings it full circle. And I'm being very, very selfish right now because it really meant so much to me. I mean, I cannot lie. I remember when I was listening to Roxanne Shante dissing my favorite rapper, KRS-One, saying that KRS-One needs to go on vacation with a name sounding like a whack radio station. And you know what I'm saying? That blew my mind. And then finding out that Kane was the one that actually wrote that verse for Shante. And Kane tells a story about how KRS-One helped him move out of his mom and dad's apartment, and Miss Melody carrying a 25-inch TV down the stairs. And they end up, drinking Heineken and watching The Color Purple at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? So all these different stories now have a certain color, or a certain flavor, or a certain texture, and it's all because of that one episode of Drink Champs. Okay. And so that's my rant. That's me actually saying, yeah, go out and watch Drink Champs or whatever. But it's actually a piece for me to just be able to, kind of pay homage to something that actually meant so much to me. So that was me getting out my little thing there. So I'm doing my thing, yo. Yeah.
You took 5 minutes of my life to promote another show on my show.
Impactful. It was impactful.
I got you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Those jewels.
Those are jewels from Old Head Snoop.
Old Head Snoop. All right. So it's a brand new segment. It's brand new because we got a new co-host. We're going to call these J Giggles. She's got. I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, ladies, I told you I'm on your side. So, the question is, why do men lie? Yes, men can lie about the stupidest thing. You can go outside and say, what color is the sky? They're going to say it's black. Because you know why? Their souls are just as black. So you know.
Okay.
Men lie about the smallest thing, and then what irritates me the most is when you know they're lying and you ask them a question and they give you a false answer, and you sitting there like, I know you're lying, so just tell me the truth. But men's defense is, if you know that if you know I'm lying, then why ask? Because I want you to tell the truth. I want you to what you did, where you went, who you were with, all of that. Anything that I'm asking you, you need to tell me. Don't sit up here and selling me false dreams and all this stuff, especially when you're about to first start date. Don't sell me false hopes thinking that, oh my God, you're this most amazing man, and then come a week or maybe, hopefully not a week or two, ladies, but come like a month down the line, you like this whole complete different person. Like, I swear I was dating Idris Elba, but I ended up getting a Donald Trump. Like, no. Like, no. Just keep it real. To be honest, a woman wants somebody that's going to be truthful. Okay, sometimes the truth hurts, but I would rather you tell me the truth than to tell me a lie. Telling me the truth may hurt, but you telling me a lie is going to hurt a lot more. Because if I find out in the end, I'm going to be a raging bitch. I'll be for real. I'm going to be pissed off, and I'm going to be going off on you, calling you all types of names, because you could have just told me the truth right at that moment. It makes the situation a lot better, men. So just tell the truth right up then and there. So I want to know, why do men lie?
Okay, I'm going to answer that real question.
Yeah.
Real quickly. You sitting on it. Absolutely. That's the reason why we do things that we do. Y'all, do you understand the courage it takes for a man to approach a pretty woman?
No, I wouldn't. I'm not a man, so I wouldn't know.
But that's my point. So I'm going to need a little bit more of a serious reference than the sun is blue, black, whatever. No. I'm not going to lie about it. But I can understand why, me personally, I'm going to give you the real, regardless. Unfortunately, I've been told I'm an asshole because of that. Because I'm going to tell you the truth regardless if it hurts your feelings or not. Sorry, I got to live my truth. So, as far as the answer is, we want that ass. Just plain simple. We got to get it.
That is terrible. That is not how it should be.
It's not how it is.
I ain't never had to lie.
That's really why we lie.
But
lying to you right now.
I ain't never had
to lie.
No, that's not necessary.
Especially when your woman comes to you, do I look fat in this?
Not to me.
Stop.
Dang, it's like that.
That's a lie.
So in your head, you're really thinking that, dang, you really do look fat as hell.
But what I'm saying is, you don't want that. You don't want me to tell the truth in that. So how can you expect for me to tell the truth in something else? You got to take the truth every single moment and be able to accept it. Period. If you can't accept the truth at every turn, don't pick and choose what I can't lie to you about. That's not fair.
But I mean,
you gotta set that precedent. You want the full honesty, nothing but the honesty. That's what you're supposed to get.
Also,
be honest.
Also, men lie about little small shit.
No.
Women will lie. Women will tell a lie like, "Oh, he has your eyes." Come on now.
I love my little daughter to death. I love her to death. However, I just like you. I tell my daughter all the time, if I were you, I would be pissed and punch him in the face. Because I'm not lying. I would be an ugly chick. And if somebody, that's an insult. Punch their ass in the face. Honestly. And then I got your back. Because daddy gonna help you beat that ass. Because they just insulted you. Because I honestly looking man. However, I would be an ugly chick.
You never know that though.
Bullshit, I know.
No, you don't.
You not. Sorry, I'm talking to you now. We down with her now. Somebody. Seriously, I honestly believe that women got wanting the truth. Don't force him to lie. If you already know something's going on, you gotta trust your own instinct.
I mean, but it's always nice to hear them tell the truth. Don't sit up here.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Don't sit and tell me a bold-faced lie. And I know, because if I know and I don't say anything, it's going to eat me alive. Until that time we get into a heated argument, I'm going to say everything that's on my mind. So just tell me right then and there.
That's immature.
How is that immature?
You're not supposed to hold that grudge. If you done got past it, get the fuck past it.
Okay, but you gotta know, when a woman's fed up, they're gonna let you have it. They're gonna let you have it left to right. Calling you all types of names, anything that they can do to jab you.
Immature.
What's wrong with your sister's children?
Immature for no damn reason. Because we do. We're forced to.
I was over Lonzo's house. No, you wasn't. You was over there around the corner where Riri smoking the blunt.
Exactly. Why would I decide to go and do? Why does that matter? I'm a grown ass man. I mean, that's the kind of things that you forcing that man to feel and think about.
What are we getting? I know we got we have.
No, I ain't glancing down.
Really? You guys are surprising the heck out of me. Okay.
So Marissa says, don't tell me to hear, because what's done in the dark comes to the light.
Exactly.
So lying is stupid. Just be honest. Again, I want to hear roses and raindrops. That's what y'all want to hear. If we flat out came to y'all with gutter shit, you wouldn't like it. I'm being absolutely honest. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but that's the honest truth. We would, if a man, I would say probably for men, if women talk to them about exactly what they're thinking at every current moment of the day, so that's the reason why we don't tell the truth. And I'm not talking about asshole men who are only out to get the booty. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking even men who literally want to have that serious relationship with you. Even they gonna lie to you a little bit. Even your greatest Idris Elba, even he gonna, we just have.
Yeah, I'll take it.
That's so I gotta have a British accent. And alright, mate. I mean, that's my problem with it. Yeah, don't sit up here like all of y'all are Mother Teresa.
We are.
Women lie just as much as men do.
No, not as much. Not as much, but the capacity can last 18 years.
You see my face?
Yeah. They lie about bigger
Women
things.
are pure. They're angels.
Pure angel assholes. Oh,
That's a big story. Yeah.
I'm not trying to hit it. We're not going. I
needed some new pants because I'm holding some water weight. So I went to the store and there were these Nazis there, and it's gonna be a big story.
Gonna give a whole story.
Cam's
ass no more. Somebody up somewhere. I don't know.
Crystal said I got previous marriages, kids, and a whole damn family. Men don't think women would find out about that. Now those I don't know nothing about them because I'm not lying about my whole family. That speaks to something entirely. That's
a sickness.
That's a character flaw. Lying about
a bodily function.
Thank you. It's like it's just in our DNA. It's DNAL.
You drinking the Coke, really? You don't have to belch. You know. Man's like he is. It's just a belch.
I mean, it is. I know some women like that too.
They just gotta lie to get by.
They lie. They just got.
I don't lie. Okay?
Marissa, you lying right now. Women are better liars than men, and I agree. Because the problem is, y'all are natural investigators. Did you hear what she said? Who you with? Where you been? How long you? The problem and the reason why men get caught up in a lot of them lies is we done forgot after we said it.
Exactly. Your story started.
We was playing PlayStation. No, but she remember all of that.
Yep, every detail.
We not things, and we keep forgetting, and we make that mistake. Y'all, because y'all think about y'all lives before the situation even happened. Y'all, you got next week Thursday. I mean, for real, they got lives.
No, we don't.
I spoke to a friend of mine. They woman going to a bachelorette party and was upset because he didn't know his woman was going to a bachelorette party. He was mad. What he was really mad about?
What was that?
2 months ago, he told her she planned this to go out of town a month ago.
An elaborate plan, a scheme.
He found out 3 weeks after the bachelor party was over. It ain't no reason. She didn't show you, walked you through it, gave you the details, and you paid for it, and she done worked.
Oh man.
That just comes to the conclusion that women are smarter than men.
I don't think we were making that point.
Not even in the comments at all. That's all that is.
A little smarter.
We're gonna move on to the next subject. Alright. Last one. Because I know y'all trying to get to Empire. I see we losing people already. Rock with y'all is, which one got there? Taking somebody back or do men?
Ooh, the whole taking people back. Ooh.
One or two.
I mean, speaking from a lady standpoint, Regina, but I mean, okay. either one.
We have one for next week, and I a better question.
Yeah, that probably was.
So we're gonna save that one for next week. So, take something. Is that a good, bad situation? Would you do it? Frown against it? You all for it? What you think?
I've been in a situation where I've done it. a real rough time in my marriage. Things that actually went down, and it wasn't actually cool. I was actually really spiritual. I was going back and forth to church, and we happened to be talking about Hosea and about what Hosea's role was, and how he actually went and took to Gossamer, and she actually didn't love him, and she kept straying away, and he kept staying with her. I was trying to actually emulate that in that situation. I was trying to be like Hosea, but I am not Hosea. You know what I'm saying? So I was in a position where I did actually take my ex back, try to make it work. When it didn't work, I was ready to move on because I was spent.
No, I was telling them, well, man, you finished.
Oh yeah. I was emotionally spent. When I was trying, because it takes a lot to do that. I think I was actually taking on more than I really should have. But it was one of those things where I wanted to put forth the effort. So when things actually did eventually break down, it wasn't that I didn't try to make it work. You know what I'm saying? I put forth that effort. So it was rough, but
I got you. Audio was bad, so they didn't hear the question. So I'm going to repeat the question. Taking someone back after cheating. How do you feel about that? He gave us his point. He's likened himself to Hosea in the Bible.
So for me, per se, I would say once you have physically cheated, that is a done deal for me. I don't want somebody that's shared with another person, because one, there could be all types of diseases coming back. I mean, you got to be careful, right? But I mean, physically cheating is it's a done deal for me. But I mean, talking to a girl or whatnot, yeah, I'm gonna be pissed off, but I can let it slide more than you going and hanging out with this girl and sleeping in the bed with this girl where you have to lie to me. So but I say physically cheating no, as far as talking and whatnot, yeah. And then to think, if you took somebody back when they physically cheated on you, you're going to be insecure that whole time. Everything they do, you're going to question, like, where you going? Who you going with? No, you can't do that. And then they're going to be like, what the heck? But the reason we feel that way is because you actually cheated on me with somebody. So I think that in the end, you're kind of like scarring yourself as far as to taking somebody back who has done something like that to you, because you're going to have those insecurities throughout the relationship. To each his own. Some people might not feel that way, but me personally, I do. I couldn't do it. Once you physically cheat, you're done deal. You're out of my book. I don't think about anything about you. I may still love you, but you can love somebody, but you can have love from somebody, but you don't have to be in love with them.
All right, so I hear you there. I have one thing I want to say about the earlier part of your statement. You said somebody that shared, but think about this: sharing is caring. Oddly enough, y'all probably gonna laugh at this, but me on the other hand, I believe there's nothing wrong with taking somebody back after cheating. It depends on how you feel for that person, or how you feel if that person has learned from that situation, or if that person has regret in it, if you feel like that person's gonna do it again. So if you truly love somebody, and I'm a firm believer in this, if you truly love somebody, that love don't go nowhere. So how can you love somebody? And I don't believe in that. If you love them, let them go. If they love you, or if it was meant to be, it'll return. Bullshit. No. If you love somebody, you show them you love them. Show them that you care. Show them that you're willing to work on it. Because no relationship is absolutely going to be perfect. Now, I don't mean I'm not saying, and I'm not giving an excuse for cheating. I'm not. That's not at all what I do. Because I'm a man that don't believe in cheating on women. I don't. I'm a firm believer in things happen. People's feelings and emotions get the better of them on both hands. Yeah. Men and women. So things that happen, it's a matter of can you forgive? Do you have forgiveness in your heart? Is the love that you have for that person strong enough for y'all to work through? The insecurities that you have because of somebody cheating are insecurities you already have in you, regardless. Can't nobody put an insecurity in you.
A situation can.
No, that's an insecurity that you have in you anyway. And opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one, and some stink worse than others. But no, seriously, I really and truly believe that if a person cheats on you, it doesn't mean the end of the world. It doesn't mean the end of the world for y'all. This is my personal opinion. Babe, I love you, but don't even try it. Things happen. You know, I'm of that belief that just because a person cheats on you, don't mean they don't love you. That don't mean they have a lack of love for you. I really believe that cheating has nothing to do with your spouse. More that it has to do with you and your selfishness.
Yeah.
So I don't think it has any bearing on the relationship, or I shouldn't say no bearing. It has a big bearing on the relationship, but I think involvement with the relationship as to whether the relationship is good, bad, or indifferent. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it has everything to do with that person and that person's selfish needs. So, you know your mate. Even though you think you may not know him at this point because they done cheated on you, you still know your mate. When you found out about it, or when you approached them with it, or if they came and told you, how did you feel at that point? So now that goes back to another flip side of the coin is, what do you consider really cheating? Because I know people who consider looking at another woman is cheating. Talking on the phone to another woman is cheating. You know, just those smaller things. So if your man just talked on the phone with another woman, are you absolutely done with him at that point?
No, because there's like things that you should not and should say to a woman. I mean, if you're talking about, oh, I want to hang out with you and you look so beautiful and you're just so sexy and stuff like that, that's a version of cheating. But if you're talking about like, hey, we're trying to be friends and stuff like that.
How is that a version of cheating? All you did was make a comment. You can't give a compliment?
But I mean, like, if you start getting into details like, dang, you sexy girl, you looking good. Yeah, I mean, a girl's gonna feel some type of way if you hear your man talking to another girl and saying like, dang girl, you beautiful. No girl's gonna like that, to be honest. That's just like a girl going to a dude and be like, damn, you are sexy.
I cheat because I told you were lovely.
It's different. If you have a sexual content to your conversation, then you are cheating. If you have some sort of sexual content, if you guys are just having a casual conversation, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? Then that's fine. You can say that you're friends with that person. But if you start getting into, dang, I really want to chill with you, or you look so good and this and blah 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 blah, you're cheating. I mean, it may not be physically, but
okay, so
I think emotional cheating is actually even worse.
That's what they say.
You know,
exactly.
I think the emotional part. I mean, that means that person's almost out the door. But.
So I'm because remember, she said that, and earlier in her monologue, that physically cheat, then that's it.
yeah.
So you will accept the emotional cheat.
I mean, I don't like it, but it's more acceptable. It's more something that you can get past. Yes.
I got you. Now, does the role of how much you care about that person, does that play a factor in it?
The role of how much you care about that person.
So, like, if a brother you've been talking to for 2 days, you know, you caught him on Instagram talking to some other chick, his baby mama, talking about, ooh, you looking good lately. We need to hook up. Would you be upset with that versus somebody you've been talking to for, say, seems to be 6 months, I think. 6 months. Would you be willing to forgive that person doing the same thing as the other person?
So we just not talking for 2 days. When you sit here talking to your baby mama, you got a problem. We got a problem. It's cut off. That's showing me how you're going to be in the future. So versus it's true.
We've been talking for 2 days.
But okay.
We haven't established anything.
So what?
You can't, brother. He got no leeway.
They're talking exclusively to me. That's how you get a woman.
In 2 days?
Yes, 2 days. 2 days.
So,
In 2 days.
wait, I got a major issue now. So you want in 2 days?
Yep.
But you won't get him.
You gotta work towards that.
Oh, so if I give you days, day 3 them draws is mine. No, you gotta work for that exclusivity. That's all I'm saying. I don't think I just created. I'm using it like it's great.
We can go ahead and trademark that.
That's right. You heard it here first on the Milk Does exclusivity. That is all. No, seriously. Do you understand where I'm coming from with that?
I mean, in a sense, but still, that's like flipping the script. If you see the girl talking to her baby daddy like, damn, I really do miss the times we had, you're going to be like, she a hoe.
No, we talked about that last time. No. So, maybe because she done planned out what they're going to do 6 months from now already. I'm really ready for us, and I don't trust her. I don't know. I got to watch you. It's a good eye. But I don't necessarily. I don't believe that because I believe that people are supposed to have friends regardless. So I'm not going to question you about who you with.
Yeah.
2, I'm not looking through your phone, so I don't give a damn. I can't. I'm not going to know what happened anyway. To me, that's one of the weakest signs of people. Period. Searching their mates' phones, emails, pants pockets.
You go looking for something, you gonna find something.
Man, I don't even know. No, because even if I wasn't looking, it ain't supposed to be there. So if I look,
exactly, that's
and it's there, then if it was supposed to be, you were doing something wrong. So I don't believe in looking through phones, wallets, purses, cell phones, emails, DMs, and all. No, sweetie. Every single person, regardless if they're in a relationship with you or not, every person deserves privacy.
Yeah.
Period. If that's the case, you might as well go ahead and open up your diary so he can read about your. So I mean, I don't believe in that. You deserve that privacy because you had a life before you met me. I don't need to know all them details. I don't. So I don't need to know all them details back then.
And it better not come out on DVD.
I don't know. We might die. That's right. Kardashian. That's right. I mean, that just honestly, I don't feel like really that people their privacy should be invaded just because we're in some kind of committed relationship. If you believe that, I personally think you need to be committed. Yeah. Because you're putting too much of negative energy in the air towards your relationship. If you're spending all that time, why don't you spend that time to doing something positive to help the relationship? Yeah. So that time you spend it running through my phone, why don't you go in there and cook a meal? Then you know your man will definitely be home. You ain't got to worry about him spending time with another chick. Go in there, iron his clothes or something. I mean,
dang.
As a man, instead of you running through her phone, why don't you go your ass in there, cook a meal or something? let her know she's appreciated or something like that, instead of, and that wasn't meant just for women, that goes for men and women, because I personally think a man that goes to a woman's phone is the weakest fucking man in the world. Well, second weakest man in the world is a man that's got to rape a woman, but a man that has to go through a woman's phone, he is the second weakest person in the world. I cannot stomach that insecure bullshit. You just ain't supposed to do it. Man up, grow a sack. If you're really worried about her dipping out, then that means you doing something you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to transfer that energy.
I have to actually disagree with that one.
How?
Just because personally, I was in that situation where it wasn't me. It really was not me. You know what I'm saying? So I was in a situation where it was not me, and still everything happened the way it happened. I don't need to go into all the details, but yeah, the way things happened, the way they happened, it wasn't me.
I get you.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Mm-hmm.
However, I still don't believe in looking through a phone.
Yeah.
You had that inkling of something going wrong before you looked in that phone. Trust your spirit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God putting that on you for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before you pick up that phone, He put that in your heart already.
Mm-hmm.
Follow your heart, listen to God.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
That's true.
Honestly, that's just the way I feel. I mean, I don't mean no disrespect by anybody who has been cheated on or any of that. You knew that before you picked up the phone, because that's the reason you picked up the phone. Because you were thinking about it. Who she with? Not your dumb ass. While you at the crib looking through a goddamn phone, twerking up on Rodney.
Dang, I hope she wouldn't leave her phone at home.
Well, shit, she didn't want it. She had it. But
iPhones are traceable.
Exactly. Friends. Find your friends. Right? Why the hell is she at Cloud 9?
She said hallelujah somehow. So.
Well, she praising His name. Oh God. Oh, I'm sorry. What you think of the show so far?
I got the ladies' backs, because they always try to talk about ladies. So I got your backs, ladies, even though the first subject I didn't have it. But I mean, everything goes. I have your back.
All right. Questions. We're gonna take 5 minutes to that empire. All right. Post it up. We here live. If not, we can definitely get back to him next week. So go ahead and ask him what we got. I do see here, Lindsay is, I'm sorry, we're going to start up higher. Sabrina says, there's too much shit out here. Don't cheat, just leave me alone. Nothing wrong with that. Marissa said, if you feel like you need to cheat, just end it. You said what she just said. No. Again, Sabrina saying cheating is doing whatever you won't do in front of your mate. I wouldn't agree with that.
So if you wouldn't wash dishes at home, but you over at such and such house, you over at Sister Sharon's house, and you know your wife, you washing her dishes. You
cheating on your wife with dishes at somebody else's crib.
Was she running that girl's vacuum?
No, she was running her. Emotional cheating is the worst. That's what they say. Marissa is a back. She says, don't look for something, because you're going to find something you didn't want to see. That's a common analogy. I hear you. And she says your feelings gonna get hurt. No, because me personally, as I say, is if you already have that thought and you're looking, that thought is already there. Ain't no what if, maybe, coulda, woulda, shouldas. You knew it. You knew your mate, your man, your woman was out there sliding the wrong way. Just man up, woman up, put your big girl drawers on, pull them all the way up to here. All the way up to here.
Your granny panties.
That's right. Pull your granny up and keep on moving. You got shits to do. You got a life. Keep on. One monkey don't stop no show. So I'm not. We down to 4 people, so everybody already watching Empire.
Yeah, they watching Empire.
We lost everybody. See what you did.
What did I do?
We 17 minutes late. See what happens when we bring women on the show? Concept of time.
I'm not saying nothing.
Exactly.
Hey.
Leave my Go ahead, Smooth knows. He knows.
These are the last 17 minutes. Ain't nobody watching this.
He knows.
When they watch this on the replay, ain't nobody watching. Alright, y'all. Go ahead and sign out now. We thank y'all again for watching. If you did make it this far in the show, definitely want to ask you guys to like the video. Go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Subscribe. If you like Miss J Giggles on the show, let us know. We'll definitely try and get her back here. We may even have a full person panel. So when we get this on the stage and make her be under the fire squad.
Yeah. I think
I'll take up
she'll
for
represent.
you, ladies.
She'll
Don't
represent.
worry.
I think so.
I'll take up for you.
Thank you very much.
All right. My brother, let him know. We also forgot to tell him happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
That's right. Happy belated birthday. That might be why he wasn't here today. Went a little hard.
He lied to y'all.
I know. No, he said he was underwater. He didn't say I was hungover or nothing.
Give
But
me your own kind lying to you.
She loves Jayla. I'm a little offended that you didn't give me no love on this goddamn show. But y'all, women stick together. See, that's what we gotta start doing.
Exactly.
And we just want to watch the game.
That's it. Let me have. Shit, leave me the hell alone. Asking me all the damn questions. Where you been? Who you been with? And all of that shit.
I need an answer to every question too.
When the game over. Alright, y'all again. This is Don the Bouncer, Old Head Smooth, and the lovely
J
Giggles. Alright.